Iron Maiden's Run for Your Lives tour poster is simply loaded with multiple references to the band's legacy, and especially that of the first 9 albums. And if some of those are rather obvious, the other ones are not so. So in today's video, let's take a look at all of those and discuss what they might mean for the band's upcoming tour. Here you go. As always, real quick guys, please do not hesitate to comment on anything you hear or see in this video, and especially if you disagree with me, because the whole point of our Up the Irons series is of course to start a conversation. But alright, let's do it! Before we go on discussing the centerpiece and the main protagonist of this artwork, which in case of this poster, you won't believe it, is Eddie.
It cannot be.
Let's discuss some of the references around him, starting with the most important one of all, as right in the middle left of the poster behind Eddie, you'll notice a busted up lamp post. And this of course is exactly the same lamppost which first appeared on the band's self-titled debut album in 1980, and later on Killers and Somewhere in Time, among some other artworks as well. Yet here it is smashed, which may as well be a reference to the whole fact that not so long ago, the London officials actually removed the legendary for every Iron Maiden fan lamppost in real life from its spot in East London.
You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too!
On the right side, there is a blown out brick building with those familiar twisted antennas on the roof, which if we look closer, we'll see is pretty much exactly the war-torn version of the building behind Eddie on the Killers album, yet which clearly has been through hell lately. And moving further back into the background, we can spot a Japanese-style architecture, which, and I know that I said it before, can be either a reference to Maiden in Japan, or to the whole fact that on this tour, Iron Maiden will finally give justice to a song from Peace of Mind album, which sadly has never been performed live. The raging fire behind Eddie's shoulder is very much of a visual echo to the Number of the Beast album, with flames surrounding both Eddie and the devil, and thus this apocalyptic landscape is making a full circle. In addition to that, the eerie green hue in the sky, at least to me, gives out a very obvious Total Eclipse vibe. The 1982 B-side, which was later on added to the Number of the Beast remaster, and the lightnings from the sky may very well be the references to the Power Slave album, and of course the Life After Death, which came afterwards. And of course the last but definitely not the least is the poster, which we can see next to Eddie's left shoulder. The poster which pretty much became an image, and not only for the upcoming 50th anniversary tour, but to the whole celebrations around the very important date, which is coming up later this year for every Iron Maiden fan. Yet this poster's location has also not been chosen lightly, as it is clearly a nod to the wall and the poster on the Women in Uniform artwork, which later on of course was also echoed on the Somewhere in Time album. Yet interestingly enough, pretty much all of these references and everything surrounding Eddie on this poster is being completely damaged by the band themselves, which is very symbolic, as it looks like with this tour, Iron Maiden are actually closing the chapter of the early days of this legendary band, making it a very unique and yet at the same time a rather bittersweet tour for every band's fan. By the way guys, did you notice my new Up the Pilgrims t-shirt, which I of course made specifically for this Run for Your Lives tour? But anyways, if you do want to rock it and represent our amazing metal pilgrim community at the upcoming Run for Your Lives tour, or just walking around the streets, it's actually already available for pre-order in my merch store, and I'll be more than happy to send it pretty much anywhere across the world. And just in case if you decide to do that, thank you guys so much, because it does help me out quite a lot. But yeah, a little ad break is over. Let's continue. And now that we got the landscape out of the way, let's talk about Eddie himself. Starting with the most obvious reference of all, the axe, which of course is absolutely no mistaken. Eddie is swinging exactly the same axe he wielded on the Killers cover, bloodied brutal, and iconic.
Audience, say it with me. Legendary.
In addition to that, Eddie's spiked and chaotic hairstyle is a clear nod to the band's debut album, infused with these slight touches of Killers and the later clairvoyant artwork as well. In addition to that, we can see a bullet hole on Eddie's forehead, which is actually a nod to the Aces High artwork and the now legendary screws, which of course to every Iron Maiden fan immediately scream peace of mind. But here is the craziest thing. And here for the record I have to point out that I finally decided to do this episode, which I've been meaning to do for a while now, after engaging with a post on Reddit, which thank you OP for doing this. But anyways, under that post, a user named Senor Big Belly noticed something really cool, that the position of the screws on Eddie's forehead on the Run For Your Lives tour actually does not correspond to that on the Peace of Mind album. But the screws are rather positioned in exactly the same manner they were on the Power Slave and later on the Aces High single, which in addition to the bullhead, I think gives us pretty close to 100% chance that this legendary song will finally sound live from the stage once again this year. Continuing our weird obsession and overly nerdy analysis of Eddie's head, we have to point out that the eyes on this artwork are of course a clear nod to the seventh son of a seventh son, Eddie, with Eddie's right eye being a glowing and blue one, and the left one being a red and robotic one, which he has gotten on his Somewhere in Time journeys. So I guess it's a reference to both. Yet a metal bracelet inside his neck is of course a reference to the 7th son of a 7th son era and 7th son of a 7th son era only, which I guess is rather obvious for every Iron Maiden fan. Unlike what I am about to say about his teeth, as yes, I actually think that his teeth are a maybe subconscious reference to the No Prayer for the Dying Eddie. As here's the thing. Bear with me. But if we just put the debut album and the Peace of Mind Eddies aside, just because there's so much yellow glow there that it's very hard to point out the exact colors of Eddie himself, on pretty much all of the other album artworks up until No Prayer for the Dying, Eddie actually has freakishly white teeth.
Blendomed, hogy holnap is beleharapasson.
And given the fact that the lighting on this poster is pretty normal, I think we can say, or at least speculate, that his teeth are in fact a reference to the first ever yellow teeth Eddie has ever gotten, back in 1990. But anyways, moving further. The biomechanical cables wrapping around Eddie's fingers are of course straight out of the Cyborg Eddie design from Somewhere in Time, made in 1986. And the leather jacket which Eddie is wearing can be a nod to several different eras, including Number of the Beast, No Prayer for the Dying, or even 7th Son of a 7th Son era. But I have to say that the whole style and rather feel of it is very reminiscent to that of the early days of Iron Maiden, the days of the legendary Paul Di'Anno, who, as we all know, sadly passed away last year. And thus, maybe, just maybe, in such a way, Iron Maiden decided to honor their first studio vocalist. And although I believe this is a rather cool visual, I still do really hope that they will do it during their live shows as well. Talking about the jacket itself, on Eddie's left shoulder we can see a twisted tree growing out of it, which of course is a clear reference to the haunted forest imagery from Fear of the Dark. And that little badge he's wearing, or rather the color of it, I believe is somewhat of a hint to the band's very first demo recording, known to pretty much everyone today as the Soundhouse tapes, which of course is a reference for only the nerdiest of the nerdy fans, but the truth is that it was that demo which has helped Iron Maiden launch their amazing career, and thus it would be only fair to honor it on their 50th anniversary tour. And of course, underneath it all, Eddie wears a very simple whitish t-shirt. Exactly the same t-shirt which we can assume he has worn on the first 3 Iron Maiden albums, including the legendary Number of the Beast, thus making a complete full circle and referencing each of the first 9 albums on this rather unique and a very detailed poster. And I don't know about you, but although this poster was of course not done by the legendary Derek Riggs, at least to me, it was actually able to capture the whole essence of the early days of Iron Maiden, making me even more excited about the band's upcoming 50th anniversary tour. But what about you? What do you guys personally think about all these nods, and did I miss any? If so, please let me know in the comments. As well as if you don't agree with some of those, and of course, whether you are planning to see this band live this year. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!